Well, check this out. This may have actually happened to you. You notice a little fluid underneath your car, but you're not really sure what it is or if it's even really a problem. Well, of course, our auto guy, Brian Bowersock of West Escondido Auto, is here to tell us what we should do, if anything.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How about you?
Great.
Well, what do we do? I mean, because often, this happens to me over and over again. I always keep my cars for years, and then you notice a little something, and then you say, well, should I have it checked out or just let it go until there's a problem? What should you do?
Well, you should actually get it checked out. And one of the big problems is, especially when you start with a leak, is sometimes people have trouble diagnosing exactly where the leak is coming from. There's a pretty good system to do so, to be honest with you. And typically, what we'll see is somebody will look at a car and they'll say, well, it appears the oil pan's leaking. So they replace the oil pan. Well, now you still have a leak. So it really hasn't been pinpointed. So we've come up with a system that a lot of us use, like we use at West Escondido Auto and Trans. And what we do is bring the vehicle in and we actually clean it off after getting information from the customer. When does it leak? Does it leak when it sits only? Does it leak more when you're driving it? Does the car have to be pointed nose down or nose up? Because all these things are important, obviously, with fluid. After we clean the vehicle off, we actually install a dye, a fluorescent dye, into whatever system we suspect is leaking, whether it be power steering, transmission, engine, whatever it is. We'll run the vehicle with the dye in it.
Okay.
After running the vehicle with the dye in it, sometimes if it's a very small leak, it may even take a couple days. Might have to send a customer home with the vehicle, say, hey, 2 or 3 days, bring it back, we'll recheck it. And then we actually check, and you can actually see, I've actually put dye on this.
Oh, wow, it does. It just kind of lights right up.
And you can actually trace the leak right from where it's originated at. And that way we can pinpoint, hey, it's your power steering pump seal leaking, or it's a hose, or, it's the oil pan or rear main seal on a vehicle, or the front pump seal on a transmission or something like that, which prevents us from replacing components that don't need to be replaced. We can go right after the main source of the leak, or the major leak. Sometimes people have small leaks and large leaks, and they just want the large leak fixed. The seeps are not that concerned about. Mm-hmm. This way we can pinpoint where your major leak is, get that fixed for you so you're not creating a big mess, and you can go on about your day with your car.
Well, and to get to this point, it's very important, it sounds like, that people actually give you some specific and very important information about the leak itself.
Correct. Yeah, and usually any quality service facility is going to be asking you these questions anyway, and then cleaning underneath the vehicle, adding the dye, and running it through its paces to get it to leak and find out exactly where it is leaking from.
Now, is this pretty standard now? Most auto shops are going to be using this?
Not necessarily most auto shops. I see a lot of people that don't. Okay. A lot of larger facilities like us, car dealers, we all typically use this system.
So if they don't use this, can you ask? Because it seems like if they don't, they're kind of hunting and pecking, and potentially, yes, like you said, all the parts of your car leak a little fluid here and there, especially if you have an older car like mine. So you may not even get to the source of it until you take it back 2 or 3 times if they're not using this.
Correct. It's kind of like shooting craps if you don't actually use the dye, diagnose exactly where the leak's coming from, because there are several things that can leak that can look like something else.
Okay, well, let's go over again what people need to do with some information up on the screen as far as being able to help the person decide what it is. Of course, if you need to diagnose the oil and fluid leaks, you should describe the color of it, so it can range a lot.
Correct. Whether it's a red fluid, power steering fluid is quite clear. We all know pretty much what engine oil looks like, although it can be kind of clear if it's fairly new. So there's several different colors of fluids. Coolant's green or red. We've now changed different coolant colors through manufacturers. But yeah, describing the color of the fluid, about where under the vehicle you're seeing it if it's a leak that sits, how the vehicle's parked when it leaks if it tends to leak overnight, and things like that can help pinpoint. Get the technician in the area where we clean it off, add the dye to the correct system, and then recheck it to find out exactly where that system is leaking from.
All right, good information. So again, once again, the owner actually has to play a major role in being able to find out what's wrong with the car and then get it fixed quickly.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Brian, so much for being here. Always nice to see you. And if you have a question for Brian yourself, just drop him an email. The link to our website, it's right on there at fox6.com, and click on Hot Topics.